President Trump has signed a bill to end a very brief government shutdown, essentially a long weekend, temporarily funding the Department of Homeland Security for 2 weeks as negotiations about ICE funding and DHS funding continue.
What's the cliche, Sam? Kick the can down the road?
Yes.
Yes, this does not resolve the controversy over the Department of Homeland Security and what it's doing to the American people. It just postpones it for a couple of weeks. You know, I want to remind people of something that for some reason even the mainstream media has lost.
Tell us.
There was a bipartisan plan in 2024, in the last Congress, to actually solve the immigration problem. It was a combined plan with bipartisan support.
Right.
Heralded, led by conservative Senator Langford of Oklahoma, I think he is. It would combine strict border security with a path for citizenship for undocumented immigrants who committed no crime, contribute to the economy, could pass citizenship tests. It would have gone so far to resolve this incredibly thorny issue. Who killed it, Sam?
Donald J. Trump.
Right, because he does not want to solve the immigration problem.
Crazy.
And it's backfiring on him. He thought it would be a big plus politically for him. It's now a big minus for him. He's now underwater on his signature issue of immigration. Majorities of Americans think ICE has gone too far, Border Patrol, and even now Americans, by a small margin, believe ICE should be abolished. That's astounding.
And the crazy thing is just the amount of money that's being promised to ICE. Their 2026 budget request was originally $11.3 billion, and then Trump's bill, the big ugly bill, raised the ICE funding by $127 billion. So their funding would be somewhere in the ballpark of $138.8 billion. That's more than the UK or India spend on their entire military.
And you know what? They said we can't afford to give hungry people food stamps, right?
And we've got to fire all these government employees because we want to save money.
And we can't give Medicaid benefits to people who can't afford insurance or doctors. And we can't reauthorize the Obamacare subsidies so people's health insurance premiums will not become unaffordable. No, we can't do any of that.
Here's $100 billion.
But here's $100 billion. Go terrorize the nation.
And another thing we forgot to talk about during the Kennedy Center thing. A lot of people work for the Kennedy Center, and they just woke up one day and found out their job was gone for the next 2 years.
That is very, very important because that's exactly what they did with the Doge, right?
Yeah.
Just take a chainsaw, firing people. These billionaires who live this lavish lifestyle, don't worry about anything, couldn't care less about depriving the jobs of ordinary Americans who are going to struggle to feed their families, put a roof over their heads, to get food, to get health insurance. It's obscene. It could not be more immoral and more obscene.
Speaking of some of those rich mofos, newly released Jeffrey Epstein documents name powerful figures like Donald Trump, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk. The files include extensive redactions, renewing scrutiny over who may be implicated and what remains hidden. I know a lot of the survivors and victims of Epstein are not happy.
To say the least, they're incensed by three things. One, they're incensed because despite all the protestations of Todd Blanche, the Deputy Attorney General, about how carefully they tried to protect the survivors found their identities have been exposed. Even after they're 42 days late beyond the deadline in releasing this material, they still are so incompetent or so evil, I don't know which, or some combination, that they're still exposing the survivors. Two, the survivors are livid because while some of them are being exposed, a lot of the rich and powerful connections are being redacted. They're redacting a lot of names that are not survivors for absolutely no reason other than to limit the information that the public receives. And that's contrary to the legislation of Congress. Third, they're incensed because there are millions of files yet to be released. Somewhere between 2.5 and 3 million files. Oh, we're not going to bother. We're not going to release them. Again, directly contrary to the laws of Congress. But even with all of those redactions, all of those limitations, a lot of rich and powerful people were found to have a relationship of some kind or another. Hard to tell, but Bill Gates, certainly, Larry Summers, former president of Harvard, Secretary of the Treasury, Elon Musk, Steve Bannon, Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary. Particularly egregious because he lied. He said, I stopped, dealing with Epstein in the early 21st century, the early 2000s. False. He kept communicating with him long after that. In fact, a lot of these guys have lied.
That's what I was about to say. Elon Musk lied, too. He said that Jeffrey Epstein was begging him to come to the island, and he refused. That's not what the emails look like.
Not even close. These emails, to the extent, they released anything, and I'm sure lots of it is being withheld. And all of a sudden, Steve Tisch, one of the owners of the Giants, got exposed as well. And, of course, once these guys get exposed, they don't regret their relationship with Epstein. What do they regret, Sam?
Being caught.
None of them fessed up, including Donald Trump. Never fessed up, lied about it.
Trump is in the files. His name is mentioned 1,500 times.
Yeah, exactly. But he claims, it all exonerates me. Yeah, of what?
Of what, yeah.
And let's not forget, he sent that obscene birthday card, an outline of a woman talking about sharing secrets as late as 2003. He said Epstein was a great guy, and like me, he loves beautiful women, and he likes them young. Let's not forget, Epstein said, of course, Donald Trump knew about the girls. He's the voice that didn't bark. So, these guys are just in it up to, and Bill Clinton too. These guys are in it just up to their necks. They don't regret it. They regret getting caught, and only when they're caught, they say, oh my God, what a mistake I made. I'm so sorry. I regret it.
No, Donald Trump and Elon Musk are claiming they're totally exonerated. They're not apologizing at all.
Tisch and Lutnick were apologizing. Yeah, Trump says he's totally exonerated.
Right, and Elon Musk, I don't even know what
he said.
Point is.
He's not in government. Lutnick is in government. Trump is in government. I don't see how Lutnick could survive this, but in the Trump administration, I'm sure it doesn't matter. Thanks for watching our video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and become a member today.